A long time ago, I raised a son to know his Coppola from his Cameron.
Now we're turning our arguments into content. This is I Am Your Father, where Gen X meets Gen Z in hyperspace.
Hello, I'm Graham.
And I am Braden. How we doing?
We're doing pretty good. We've got a really fun topic to talk about. We've been waiting for this one for a while. Avatar, Fire and Ash, Big Jim is back.
Go.
That's right. And we're here. I guess those of you who are regular YouTube or Spotify watchers can tell that Braden's backdrop is a little different. He's here in my studio, and he's come out for the holidays. So Merry Christmas, son.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, we've got it. We've been having a lot of fun since he got in town, and you and the wife, my daughter-in-law, are here. The dog.
Yep.
And
Stark.
yeah, we're hanging out, and we went to the movies last night, and we caught ourselves a little Pandora.
Little Pandora in the most expensive form.
That's right. That's right. Which we're going to cover in a little bit more depth when we get into that main topic. But we, other than that, let's see, we got some other stuff planned for this week.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who listens knows we're very excited to go see The Matrix in a rather immersive experience day after Christmas.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, at time of recording, is Christmas. So we're going to hang out with the family, do all the the normal Christmas things. And then, of course, we will have to end the night by binging Stranger Things Volume 2
That's right.
as a family.
That's right. Can't wait for that.
Hopefully someone dies.
How many episodes do we have this time?
3.
We have 3. So it's 4-3-1, right? Is the release?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
4 episodes, 3 episodes, 1 episode. Yeah. Last one being the finale. And then we both have tickets to see the finale in theaters as well.
We have our concession vouchers.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to splurge on a movie pass again this upcoming year because this year broke the bank movie wise, and next year's just gonna be even crazier.
I think that's a good idea. We've been definitely, because of the podcast, we upped our movie watching game, and in terms of in theaters, and for sure, I think for me it's Regal, but I could do AMC. I'm not sure. But they definitely have some good passes that we could get.
I really like the AMC one. That's the one I'm looking at. It's going to be a little further from my house, but 3 movies a week, any format. That's kind of crazy. It's kind of hard to beat. I mean, half the movies I'm interested in, my wife doesn't really care about anyway, so I don't mind going by myself and seeing something.
I'm with you.
In IMAX,
Yeah.
So I think that's
I'm
pretty
with you.
sweet.
Yeah, the closest AMC for me is maybe 20 minutes versus the Regal is 10. So it's not that much worse. I'll check into it too. I know a lot of people really love that AMC club though.
Yeah, no, it seems pretty cool. I think that's what I'm going to have to do. But speaking of movies coming out, I think we should probably dive into our 10 and 20 because I'm very excited for our first topic.
Yeah, let's do it.
So real quick, in case this is your first time, our 10 and 20 is a segment where we cover 10 topics in 20 minutes on the dot. This week, it's not going to be 10 topics. It's going to be 5 because some of them are quite a bit longer, and we're going to have more thoughts for sure. But you want to start us off with the first one?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so as part of our viewing experience of Avatar, Fire and Ash, we got to see a prologue scene from Christopher Nolan's upcoming The Odyssey, and it was pretty cool. What did you think?
I can't even express how excited I am for this movie. I've talked about it extensively. I don't need to dive into it, but this movie is catered to me. And this trailer, first of all, well, it's a prologue, I guess. There's 2 lines of dialogue in the whole prologue. It's John Bernthal's character basically starting the story. It cuts to the story, and then he ends the story. Everything that happens in between, and spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, it's basically the Trojan horse, right? So it's them coming out of the horse and taking down the guards and opening the gates, etc. But in classic Christopher Nolan fashion, it is extremely high tension. The score pounds and pounds and pounds and builds and builds and builds until you feel like your ears are going to start bleeding in the best way. And I'm just so hyped. I don't know that he could have shown me anything that made me less excited. But with this movie being like, what is it, like 8 months away still at this point or something like that, I'm at an all-time high on it. I'm so excited. Excited.
The visuals looked incredible. I thought that the way that he staged the actual Trojan horse event was unlike I had ever really imagined it.
Yeah.
And so it really piqued my imagination. I found myself going like, oh, wow, I didn't think of it this way.
Yeah.
Watching the watching the opposing soldiers, like, stabbing into the horse to try and see if there was anybody inside of it.
And even just how cramped they were,
yes,
you know?
Yes, like just jammed in there. In my head, I've always imagined, I think, this Trojan horse that was the size of a blimp or something ridiculous like that, right? Which, so no, it was really cool. And I'm super pumped. This is really this is the real big movie that I care about right now.
Oh yeah.
Waiting for this to happen. And we didn't even see really any more of the cast.
No.
Right? We
Bernthal, Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. We finally got
Holland.
to see a little bit of Matt Damon really.
In action, yeah.
And Holland was just there to smile and
just
look interested in the story.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You notice the little Dunkirk callback with the stabbing through the horse. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they do something similar with getting shot in Dunkirk, and it's this great moment where they have to stay quiet. And I missed the detail where on the way out, so the guy stabs the sword in, he hits someone, they cover his mouth, and then they wipe the sword as it comes out of his back. I missed really that little detail. My wife pointed it out to me afterwards.
Really cool. I saw that too. Yeah,
as
it's sliding out.
I'm so hyped. And then we also had like a glimpse at the Cyclops. Mm-hmm. You notice that? And that looked crazy too. I don't know. I am on cloud nine with this movie. It's my most anticipated movie maybe ever. Like, I can't think of another movie that I'm more excited about currently.
Okay, so let's talk about the trailer that's also leaked. I haven't watched it yet. You have.
For the Odyssey?
For the Odyssey.
It didn't leak. It's out. It's
right,
released.
But sorry, I apologize. The trailer that has also been released.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on the trailer? Should I watch it or should I hold off if I can avoid it?
I think it was very similar to what you saw last night with the prologue after, because obviously the prologue is that long scene and then it cuts to almost like 15 seconds of other shots from the movie, That's more or less what the trailer is. Matt Damon has a line where he says, like, after the war, like, nothing would stand between my men and home, not even me, kind of a thing. It really is a teaser.
Yeah, okay, good.
And so I feel like you saw what you needed to see. And I also feel like this didn't give me too much more than I wanted. So I feel happy with where I'm at. I feel like you don't need to see any more. I might try to not even watch anything else before it comes out. Yeah. I have no self-control, so I probably will. But if this was all we had leading up to the movie, I would be so extremely excited. I think this will be his most successful movie ever, easily.
All right, excellent. Should we get into our next topic?
Yeah, let's do it. We officially have confirmation that the supposedly leaked Avengers Doomsday teaser trailer attached to Avatar was real. And it has since been also released online, along with a new poster and a little caption from the Russo brothers. But it is confirmed that Steve Rogers will return in Avengers Doomsday. And the Russo brothers are saying it was always going to come back to this. That's what they're saying. He's the character that changed their life, the character that they love, and this was always going to be the reason they came back. That's what they're saying. You've seen the teaser now, officially. Mm-hmm. You looked at me and said, what'd you say?
I said, is that it?
Yeah, is that it?
Is that it? That's all we get?
Is a big old nothing sandwich, basically.
Yeah.
With the headlines, that is. Had we not had any idea leading up to it, then it might have been obviously quite a bit cooler. But I still am kind of on the side of I'm okay with this kind of a teaser.
So the concept of teasers and true teasers do not bother me at all. I'm trying to remember the other one that we watched where I said, oh, that was a true teaser. I like
Digger.
That. Digger. Yeah, Digger's a true teaser. I don't mind the concept of a true teaser. In fact, I prefer that. I want them to really tease. I hate when they give it all away. I know that they have to, they have to sell tickets. They have to get people in. In fact, I think one of your sisters last night when she saw the Steve Rogers reveal, was like, I really would have preferred that to have been a surprise when I came to the film. Unfortunately, in today's market, they're just never gonna frickin' do that.
But there's a good reason for that too. I mean, with the leak culture, if he actually is playing a prominent role in the movie, there's no way we ever get to release and not know that. Like, somebody's going to leak that.
In today's world, it's just not realistic at all. And that's really frustrating because I agree.
It sucks.
We've going back to conversations about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and the different leaks that came out there in terms of casting, and then them just like sticking things in trailers and then pretending like we weren't supposed to know that some of these characters were in in the film, I just, it's a bummer. I think Marvel used to be a lot better at hiding certain things, and I'm hoping that the fact that they are being so upfront about different things like this means that they do have something up their sleeve. Do you buy the whole, this is how it's always supposed to have been?
I buy that. I mean, I don't think this was the plan, right? But I do buy that if the Russo brothers were ever going to return, they were going to have to use Steve Rogers.
Right. So it was their plan all along, not necessarily Feige's plan.
Yeah, correct. I definitely think it's along those lines, and I do believe, because they've had the head writer and the Russos like are on record basically saying that they weren't going to come back unless the story was right. They really were like more closed off to it than anything. Like they didn't really want to. Until they talked, and they're like, actually, the writer said, it came to me. I have the idea. And they heard it. They're like, we have to make that movie. Like, we have to make that movie. Like, I 100% believe that idea is centered around Steve Rogers and then Robert Downey Jr. as Doom. Like, if that's not what brought the Russo brothers back, then I don't know what did. So I fully believe that they are so in love with the character Steve Rogers, which is... You can feel that, you can see that through their movies, and I personally really appreciate that. And if I trust anybody to not kind of diminish his ending, it's them. But I do think this is what was going to draw them back always.
But that's the key, right? They gave this character that they loved, that they made us all fall in love with, they gave this character a perfect goodbye.
Yes.
And now to bring it back, I feel like it's nearly impossible to not diminish what happened in Endgame.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, and everybody's reporting, oh, he's a main character. Who freaking knows that that's true? That's ridiculous to be assuming that now. I mean, I understand they're going to use him. They love using him. So I understand why people are thinking along those lines a little bit, but reporting that as though as fact, I think, is ridiculous. I will say this. For all we know, he could be in the movie a very short time and basically see consequences to his actions of going back in time and changing things, mixing things up in a way that they probably weren't supposed to be. So again, I'm in an interesting place where I'm going to be optimistic about this movie because they're attached to it until I see the movie and it's either good or it sucks.
Yeah. So then are you on board with this fan theory that it's not just Robert Downey Jr. playing Doom, but it's in fact some kind of a Tony Stark replicant of some kind, or what do you think?
I'm honestly open. I don't know what makes the most sense in my head. Mm-hmm. I also don't know the story that they're telling. Like, we don't know much about this story. We know kind of who's going to be in it, but we don't really know what's going down. So I feel like if they're doing it this way, they have to have a good reason to justify it. And so I'm open to whatever that is. I'm not dead set on him being a Doom variant or a Stark variant or a Doom who stole Stark's face. Like I'm not set on any of these. I'm going into it open, and I'm hoping that when I sit down and they start to sell it to me, that they actually sell it to me.
Okay, fair enough. All right, our third topic. The New York Times has given us its 100 best films of the century.
You know how good they are at that.
Yeah. And so we thought we would give this a little bit of hate. I don't know. There's 100 movies on here. We obviously can't cover all of them.
So is this literally within the last 100 years, or is that within 2000, right?
2000s.
Okay,
2000s,
so not the last century.
No. I think everything in here is 2000. Well, yeah, 2000 and later.
Okay.
So I see right out the gate we've got movies in the year 2000 and in the year 2001 in the top 5.
Right.
But so it's got to be just the last 25 years, I would say. Which just seems like a good time to release a best of the best so far list. I just don't understand. I'm going to start by throwing this out there. I continue to not understand or appreciate the love and respect that Mulholland Drive gets. It's listed at number 2 on their best movies of the century list. I think this movie is nonsensical. I think it's I think it's a director taking old footage that he shot for one movie that got scrapped and trying to force it into another story. And I think that people really want to love this movie, and so they give it meaning that it doesn't have. That's just my opinion. I really don't think that this is a good movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I think this will actually be a good opportunity for me to kind of take this list as some homework for myself, because a lot of these movies I have not seen, so I definitely want to. But I do think it's funny. Their movie in second place is one of the few movies in the top 20 that has a 7-star or a rating starting with a 7 on IMDb. Most of the rest of them are in the 8s, so already their list is not in agreement with other people who have watched these movies.
But in the 5 slot, Moonlight is also got a 7.4. I think Moonlight is a brilliant film. I don't know that I would put it in the number 5 slot. I think
for the last 25 years.
The last 25 years. I think I'd give it maybe a top 25 to top 50 range, but number 5, I don't know. It's definitely better than a 7.4, though.
You want to know my hot take?
What's that?
I have never, and I've seen it 3 times now, I have never understood the level of excitement and hype over Parasite. I think Parasite is a great movie.
It's a great movie.
But common consensus is it is the best movie of the last 25 years. And to me, that's absurd. I don't know. I've never gotten above... I don't think I've ever gotten above a 4 out of 5 star rating on this movie.
I think that... I want to disagree with you because I feel like that's more interesting, but I kind of don't disagree.
Well, it's fine. This is a hot take, so you can agree with me.
I think it's a good movie. I enjoyed it. I do think it was the best picture of that year too. I just don't know that I think it's the number 1 movie of the last 25 years.
Yeah, There Will Be Blood. I know you're not as hot as that. As hot on that as I am. I just saw it for the first time a couple months ago, and I did think it was really good. I thought it was phenomenal.
Again, I think it's a great film. I think it has one of the best performances ever, maybe. Daniel Day-Lewis brings an insane performance. There's just aspects of it that I don't love, and I'm oftentimes on the fence with PTA.
I'll say this. I think The Social Network, they have rated 10. I personally would watch The Social Network over every movie above it. That's me personally. There's a few I haven't seen. Mad Max Fury Road. That's fine.
Nolan has 5 pictures on this list.
That's valid.
Yeah.
That's valid. I'm sure Fincher has a few, and Tarantino probably also has a few. Yeah, I see 2 Fincher movies really close to each other. Yeah.
3. I'm seeing Gone Girl at 64, Social Network at 10, and Zodiac at 19.
Yep. Then obviously we have our Denis movies. We have a few Scorsese movies. So everybody you expect to be here, or at least all the directors you expect to be here are here. It's just more so the placement of a lot of their movies, I think, is just kind of crazy. Yeah.
Wes Anderson's on here twice. Paul Thomas Anderson's on here 4 times. So far, I'm seeing Nolan as the most represented director on this list, which I have no hate for at all. I think
it's valid.
Yeah,
I think he's definitely. He's my favorite director. I think he's easily one of the most influential directors of this time, like without a doubt. He's made movies that people love and that are really, really, really top tier. We also have Damien Chazelle. Whiplash is in the 60 slot. I haven't seen La La Land. Have you? I think La La Land is better than Whiplash, personally.
No, it's not on here.
Yeah, you know what's so
La La
interesting?
Land's not on this list.
And you know what else is funny is Nolan has several movies on this list ranked higher than his Best Picture winner, Oppenheimer. In 65, which I personally agree with. I think that's a good take. I think Oppenheimer is not his best movie. Here's the thing.
Interstellar's way down.
Where's Interstellar?
89.
Yeah. That's crazy to me.
With The Dark Knight at 28.
I would have Everything Everywhere All at Once above Parasite.
I would too. I absolutely would too.
I think that's in 77.
I think it's a superior film. There's no way that it should be as low as it is. That is a absolutely phenomenal film.
Fellowship is at 87. Are you kidding me?
It's the only one of those, too, on that list.
There's just no love for fantasy or sci-fi.
But going back to Nolan, Dark Knight is his
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
highest rated on here. I think that Dark Knight is his highest rated on here. I don't get that. 55 Inception, 28 Dark Knight. Yeah.
A lot of people would call Dark Knight his best movie. That's not my opinion.
It's not his best movie. I mean, it's just not. It's just not his best movie. I really love it. It is, no shade to Nolan, but that movie is driven by a singular performance.
Yeah.
It's one of the best superhero movies ever. But it's not even my favorite Batman movie anymore. I don't see it at 28. I definitely don't see it better than Interstellar as a film.
Are you ready for something crazy though?
Sure.
This is what I just reacted to a second ago. This is hilarious to me. And this is where I'm going to get hate. This is going to be Sinners 2.0 probably, because you're a racist for not loving Sinners at a 10 out of 10 rating. I'm going to be a racist because I think it's absurd that the only other superhero movie on this list is Black Panther.
Yeah.
Not even a top 10 MCU movie, let alone superhero movie or comic book movie.
It is, like it or not, it's far and away the most critically approved film. And I agree. I think it's a good movie, but I don't think it's anywhere near the best Marvel film ever made.
Yeah, this list is a mess. The thing is there's so many movies on this list that deserve to be here. Where they are, extremely debatable. This list has a lot of the right movies on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I swear that when lists like this come out, they're rage bait. I just truly believe they're trying to get traffic. And because oftentimes they make no sense. There's so many decisions that seem there to blatantly anger. And then there are just dozens and dozens of movies that deserve to be on this list that aren't in place of other movies.
There's some weird ones, like number 100, the last movie on the list, Superbad.
I think that deserves to be on the list.
The top 100 of the century. It's a good comedy. It's funny.
I think it's probably the best comedy of the last. One of the best comedies, if not the best comedy of the last 25 years. I think if there's a comedy on this list, it could definitely be this one. That's my take.
I think that, let's see, we can't search by genre, unfortunately. I bet you that Anchorman is on
Anchorman is. I see it in 85.
Yeah, Anchorman's on here.
Yeah, I could go without it. Yeah, I don't know.
I'll give you another one interesting too that I'm finding here that you probably will also not be happy about. Okay, so number 6, No Country for Old Men. Totally agree with that. That's a top 10 movie, no doubt, and it's the Coen brothers, I would say, best film.
Okay.
But after that, you get 36, A Serious Man. I don't think that is as good as it oftentimes is credited for being with critics. And then Oh Brother at 76 and Inside Llewyn Davis at 83. You know what's not on this list is Fargo. I don't understand how Fargo is not on this list.
Yep, great point.
And it is definitely a better film than A Serious Man. And I think it's a better film than Inside Llewyn Davis as well. I think to me, it's at least their second best film behind No Country.
I'll say this. We're shitting all over this list. I'll try to say a few good things about it real quick.
Okay.
Just to maybe wrap it up. I think Moneyball being on this list is a great poll.
Uh-huh.
I think that's a not well enough known or appreciated movie. I think it really is phenomenal. In fact, we just touched on it last week. I think it was one of your rewatchables.
I love the continued respect that Fury Road gets.
Yep.
Because it really deserves it.
Yep.
And genre-wise, it ought to be overlooked, but it's not. And that's good.
Yeah, I also feel like I wouldn't have expected Gone Girl to be on this list, but I appreciate that as well. Mm-hmm. Ocean's 11, I wouldn't have had anywhere near this list if I was betting, but that is a phenomenal movie. Mm-hmm. I think I'm very happy to see that on this list. Also, a few Pixar movies with Ratatouille and Up. So there's definitely good stuff on this list.
By the way, love for Up.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, no,
I was giving Up some love.
You were, and I was giving Ratatouille some love. So we're both up here.
That's right. Oh, Bridesmaids is another comedy that's on this list.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would put it up. 32.
Well, I mean, Anchorman is above Lord of the Rings.
Well,
so are you kidding me with that?
There's no doubt.
Oh my God, whatever. I think we could talk about all this on and on and on.
Yeah, you know, I will say there are plenty of movies on here that I haven't seen as well, which is frustrating. I really thought I'd seen
a lot
of movies in this, but I'm finding I'm finding at least a dozen of the 100 that I have not seen.
Oh yeah, no,
Most of them foreign films, to be honest.
I probably haven't seen 40 of these movies.
Yeah. So all right,
let's use it as homework. We can start to make our way through this list over the next couple months. I think that'd be
Some Love
fun
for
to
Almost
do.
Famous. That's good.
Maybe we can revisit this list towards the end of the year when we have seen everything on it, and then
and go
reevaluate. Yeah.
All right. Next topic.
Yeah. Next topic. It seems that Bullet Train 2 is in the works. I personally am a huge fan of the first Bullet Train. I thought it was, I believe, it came out last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of my favorite movies from last year. Maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 years ago. But it was one of my favorites. I found it very fun. I think I've seen it like 4 or 5 times, honestly. Like, it's just extremely watchable.
It's a lot of fun. There's no doubt about it. There's some fun performances out of actors that we don't always get a chance to let them let them play around with what they've got.
Right.
And you've also just got some really great action. I love the confined space.
Yeah.
Of
Always.
the plot. It's a lot of fun. So I'm interested to see Ladybug come back, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Ladybug. Maybe we don't need as many random cameos, but
well, this is another movie that unfortunately has a totally unnecessary out of the pocket Tanning Tatum. I can't even say his name. I don't even want to know his
Tanning
name.
Tatum. Tanning Tatum. You heard it here.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Channing Tatum, his cousin.
He's Tanning Tatum from now on.
Tanning Tatum.
Yes, totally unnecessary cameo from him. And the other one that I feel like was unnecessary was Ryan Reynolds. But the rest of the performers I thought were great throughout.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love that movie. So it's kind of one of those movies where I could be on board with a sequel. Oftentimes I'm like, what are we doing? This is the kind of movie I think lends itself well to something like that. Will they capture the same magic? I'm not sure.
I think there's room to go up. I think they could improve.
I think so too.
Because it's definitely not a great film, but it's a fun movie. And if you let yourself not take it too seriously, you can enjoy it. So there's a chance it could be one of those things where like Bullet Train was fun, but Bullet Train 2, that's where it's at.
Definitely possible.
You know?
Hopefully that is the case.
Yeah. Small hot take on this. I was having a conversation about Bad Bunny the other day, and I was saying that unfortunately, I find a lot of his music to be somewhat kind of repetitive, and it just doesn't capture my mood very much. But I think he's a better actor than he gets credit for. Like it's a small part. He doesn't have a ton to do here, but between this and Saturday Night Live, I think Bad Bunny might be a better actor than he is a musician. I don't know.
Whoa,
hot take.
Whoa, very hot take. The Puerto Ricans are going to come after you.
I know. I'm not hating on Bad Bunny. I'm just saying I think he's
just
better
his music.
Actor. Just his music.
All right, topic number 5.
Yeah. The Housemaid.
The Housemaid.
The Housemaid is out. Trashy, sleazy, intrigue.
Yep.
This is a book, I guess, that was popular, and you read it.
I read it.
That's amazing. I love that you were reading trashy romance novels.
Yeah, I'm making my way through several books at the moment. I'm reading Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. I'm also listening to the full cast edition of Harry Potter. Mm-hmm. And then my wife is in a book club with some of her girlfriends, and every once in a while, and I say every once in a while, but honestly, it's pretty often, she'll finish a book and say, I want you to read this one. I think you'd like it, or I want to talk to you about it. And so I'm kind of at a point where when am I going to get to keep reading the books I want to read? But currently, I kind of mess with her a little bit. But I did listen to The Housemaid in one day. I sat down and listened to it in one day while I was doing chores and everything.
It took one day to get through the whole book.
Yeah, I listened to it on ×2 speed and was just, cleaning dishes and vacuuming and mopping and all that good stuff. And I will say it is perfectly entertaining garbage. I at no point was I bored, which I think it's an important metric, I think. There's a lot of convenient stuff. There's a lot of cheesy writing. There's a lot of obvious plot twists and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But it held my attention the whole time, which I think is worth something. So I didn't think it was amazing, but if it took me more than a day, I probably wouldn't recommend it. But so I saw the movie. We went and saw the movie with her and her girlfriends, and I think the movie might be better, honestly. I think the movie leaned in a little more to the camp and the cheese of the story. It kind of embraced that it's a little ridiculous, you know? I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Amanda Seyfried? Seyfried? Amanda Seyfried was honestly just phenomenal in this role. I mean, she's not going to win any Oscars or anything like that. It's not that kind of movie. But for the movie that she's in, the role she's playing, really, really good. Brandon Sklenar, I'm understanding the Batman fan casting now. There's a moment in this movie where I turned to my wife and said, yep, I mean, that's Batman. It makes sense. So I'm getting more on board with him. And I believe in my Letterboxd review, I stated that Sydney Sweeney was there.
Sydney Sweeney was there.
I mean, it makes sense, her playing this character. She kind of like tends to fill this role, it seems, in Hollywood these days. So... And I get it. They want to have these names attached to this movie so it sells more. This book came out like 2 or 3 years ago. It's a very quick turnaround. I'll say this. Ultimately, it is a fun, R-rated, dark comedy that doesn't take itself too seriously most of the time. At times it does, but it fits well in the movie. Nowhere near a great movie, but I would say that it was good. It was entertaining. And by the end of it, we talked about it for a good hour on our drive to California right after, because we came here right after. So if it occupied our time like that, I think there's something to be said for it. And I would say I would recommend it on streaming.
All right. Well, Paul Feig is the director. He's somebody that I oftentimes enjoy his stuff. He was involved in The Office as a director. I think he was involved in Office Space and Freaks and Geeks and some other good television shows, but he also did A Simple Favor, Bridesmaids, stuff like that. So I think he sometimes can do good stuff that I enjoy. I really like A Simple Favor, for example.
Okay.
I think that's a good film. So maybe I'll probably wait to check out The Housemaid until it's available to stream.
Yeah,
somewhere.
Definitely.
Yeah. Having not read the book, but maybe it sounds like I should read the book.
I think it's, I mean, if you want to, I don't say that I recommended it or anything like that, but I think it's worth watching for Amanda. Fun performance. And also I think there is at least a decent chance that our future Batman is in this movie. So checking him out, getting familiar with him in that sense, if that's the kind of thing you're into.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Well, we are finishing up here. That's only 5 topics, but one of them was massive and covered. So I think we're in halfway decent shape in terms of our timing.
Let's go.
Our main topic today is Avatar: Fire and Ash.
Boom, baby.
Big Jim's return to Pandora.
Fire and ass.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We just watched this last night.
Yeah.
IMAX 3D. First time I've seen a 3D movie since
Way of Water.
Yeah. I'm going to start off by saying, if you're not seeing this in 3D, you're missing out. That's my opinion. I like immediately in the literally the opening sequence, Cameron is letting you know that the extra money you paid for is going to pay off.
Yeah.
Renting those glasses was worth it. He immediately starts flexing on what he can do with 3D that no one else seems to be able to do.
Yeah.
It also is a movie that just feels so immersive. I found myself saying, I don't even feel like calling this a movie does it justice. Like it's something else.
It is.
It's an altogether different animal. And I don't even know how to describe it other than it's not going to see the Avatar movie. It's going to see
the Avatar experience.
Yeah, exactly.
The movie opened an ad for IMAX, said you can see the movie, or you can watch the movie, or you can be in the movie.
Yeah.
That's literally how this movie felt right away. You kind of nailed it. It was so immersive. I struggled forming exactly how I felt similarly, where how do I justify what this movie actually is? It doesn't quite feel like I'm just watching this movie.
Yeah.
It really does feel immersive in a different way.
Yeah. So I think to begin with, we've got a pretty good runtime, typical 3-hour plus runtime.
Yep.
With these movies. We've got all the returning cast coming back: Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, Steve Lang, Kate Winslet, Sigourney Weaver. etc. A few of the others came back. Edie Falco and Jermaine Clement and Giovanni Ribisi. It's just, you got a whole bunch of people in here. But it really comes down to the mocap performances for the most part. I mean, almost none of these people do we see in normal human form outside of Sigourney Weaver popping up a few times. Did it keep your attention? Was the illusion able to be maintained throughout?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's got that nailed at this point. Mm-hmm. At no point was I bored. At no point did I think there was a shot that like pulled me out of the movie or anything. I mean, visually, you can't complain. There's nothing to complain about visually here. I mean, actually, I think of one scene, and it has to do with a human, actually, that visually looked a little funky. I'll touch on it later when we get a little closer to spoiler territory. Okay. But the world of Pandora, the actual Na'vi and the avatars, the water, the forests, the fire people, everything about this, it looks perfect.
Yeah.
It's actually baffling to me how real they look at times. I could actually believe that these aliens are real shooting this movie. Like it's ridiculous. The detail on their skin, it feels like you could just reach out and touch their face and it'd be real. It really is baffling. So yeah, it absolutely held my attention visually speaking. But before we dive into all these different things, I need to know generally how you feel about it compared to the other Avatar movies, because there are some negatives I have and positives. I want to talk about them both openly, but I want to know where we both stand on it because we haven't really talked about it.
No, we avoided that last time.
Thanks to my wife, she's like, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. I wanted to. We know each other's scores, kind of, but not even really.
I think I haven't actually given it an official score yet. I wanted to wait till after the episode to plug in my score, but I think that in a lot of ways, I think that this might have been my favorite Avatar film. It has a few issues, but they all do.
Definitely.
I personally think that it's paced a little bit better than Way of Water. To me, Way of Water drags at times. It's beautiful, but it drags at times, and there's a whole lot of let's do this again. We just got out of a jam. Let's put them back in the same exact jam over and over and over again. This movie suffers from that a few times too, but I think Way of Water has more of those pitfalls in my memory than this one does. So I kind of feel like this one paced. There were times when I originally watched Way of Water and when I watched on rewatch where I felt like, okay, we can skip ahead. We can skip ahead. I never felt that in this movie. I was pretty caught up in the action the entire time and intrigued and wanted to stay forward. Didn't have to get up for any bathroom breaks. Just kind of just handled it, and the movie kept my attention. So I'm leaning towards saying that this might be my favorite of the three at this point.
Okay, yeah, I disagree with you, which is good for the podcast, I suppose. Yeah, no. So I think that it is my second favorite. Okay. I think it falls in the middle. I think the first Avatar movie is severely overrated. Every time I watch it, I really do feel that drag. I think it is the least interesting for sure. I really like Way of Water. I think Way of Water works very well for me. The emotional beats hit. The triumphant moments, the call to action moments, I think all land very, very well. I think visually it is stunning. Like it feels like a massive jump from the first one, obviously. Mm-hmm. And I think the direction they took the story with making the Colonel an avatar and his whole team of Marines avatars and they become, integrated with Pandora and everything like that, I think is all really great. The concept of Spider as a character are really great. So everything in Way of Water works really well for me. The first time I ever saw Way of Water, I rated it a 4.5. Second time I watched it, I dropped it down to a 4. And then when I just rewatched it again, it went back up to a 4.5.
Interesting.
So that's my relationship with Way of Water. Now we come into this movie, and I don't know how you could watch this movie and not just feel like it's Way of Water again. Which, a lot of people felt similarly about Way of Water in relation to the first Avatar movie. But something that kind of helps me get over this is the fact that James Cameron is on record saying that he had to break up Way of Water into 2 movies, basically, right? But then I even think, okay, well, the third acts of both of those movies are nearly identical. Like, we are back on the boat. We are back with the hostage situation. We are back with this whole clan of Na'vi fighting the humans, along with all their technology and everything. Like it's nearly identical. The only difference now is that it's already happened. So certain characters are making slightly different decisions, and we have a new tribe of Na'vi siding with the humans. So it really feels like an alternate version of Way of Water, which is really strange. I almost feel like you could watch Avatar, and then you could choose one of these next movies to watch, which I think is interesting. Now, that sounds like just a major negative. It doesn't mean it doesn't work for me. I like Way of Water, which means I like this movie too. So I'm still trying to fully understand everything I feel about this movie. I definitely want to watch it again. I'd like to experience it again. But I just find it strange when everybody's saying, well, it was supposed to be one movie. I'm like, okay, well, then why are they the same movie? Was he going to give us a movie where the same thing happened twice? Like it happens leading up into the second act, and then it happens again in the third act? Like, I don't really know how all of that works.
You're talking about particularly the sort of like hostage situations, right? Capturing the kids, holding the gun, saying, Corporal or, Jake Sully, come on out.
I know you hear me, Jake.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, that happened. I said to you last night, this is one of the few things I said to you. It felt like in this script, it said, they're captured, they're saved. They're captured, they're saved. They're captured, they're saved. Which happens in Way of Water also.
I think it's exactly my problem with Way of Water.
Well, so watch these movies back to back, and it's kind of exhausting.
Well, I kind of did. I didn't quite get through all of Way of Water on a final rewatch before this, but I did get through most of it. And you're right, it was a lot of that. It definitely made those scenes work even less in Fire and Ash than they might have had it been 6 months, a year, 2 years before I watched them back to back.
Yeah, I think I'm going to title this episode Avatar, Fire, and Rehash.
That's good.
Because
I like that.
Because then the other thing is too, like Way of Water, Jake is pretty much a dick to his son Loak the whole time.
Yeah.
Right?
One of my biggest problems with Way of Water.
The movie ends, I know, right? Because it makes Jake rather unlikable, which is unfortunate. Even though his son is a whole piece of work. I get it. But by the end, like the resolution is Loak saves Jake. Jake looks at him and says, I see you. It's this moment where he's like, I accept you now. Like, I'm sorry. It says a lot in this one little sentence.
And then they wipe it right out.
This movie starts, and we're right back to Jake being a dick to his son the whole time. Guess how this movie ends?
Yeah. I see you.
I see you. I respect you. It's like, wait a minute. That was the whole point of the last movie. So,
but this all just comes down to the fact that what Cameron does well is make this thing look beautiful.
Yeah.
He's not giving us great scripts. He's not giving us great plots. He's not giving us really well-developed characters. Right. He never has, though. Let's be real. Let's go back to Aliens. Let's go back to Terminator 2. Let's go, like, all of these Cameron films. They're never particularly well-developed characters. The plot is predictable, cliched, juvenile. It's consistent, and it's the same for all three of these films. And it really comes down to that. It comes down to Cameron and less than stellar scripts.
Yeah. Well, I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it a lot. A lot of it worked very well for me. My last main issue with the movie is actually something I think that you appreciated about the movie a little more, and that was the breakneck pacing. I felt like there were times where I was reminded of the Rise of Skywalker. Things were moving like this. There were so many times where something was happening, and then all of a sudden we were cut to just further down the line. Like there's one part where they need to escape from somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. And this is towards the middle to later half of the movie, and they're flying their thing. They hop on their winged creature and they're about to fly away. The shot before that was Quaritch and one or two of his Marines flying around in the sky on theirs. Like they're up there in the sky looking down on them or looking for them or whatever. Our characters hop on theirs and you think, okay, like how, like now's the escape, right? We have to see the escape. Nope. It cuts to them just having made it a day later. Like they made it away.
Yeah.
And so there's just a lot of things like that where it's like, okay, we don't actually need to see them escape. And it's like, okay, I get like cutting out certain parts, but not the parts with tension, not the parts with stakes. Like I felt that there were a lot of moments like that where there was almost breaking of continuity, not like Pandora continuity, but just like scene continuity. Like there's, you know, if a character's looking at a character and we're doing two different shots of these characters bouncing back and forth, it has to appear that they're looking at each other, just like we're doing right now. You're not looking at me, but on the episode, it looks like you're looking at me. You know?
It's very distracting for me.
I know. There were moments in this movie, I could think of a specific one where Jake and Spider are looking at each other, but they're both looking left. And it's really strange to me.
It's just bad editing. And
it's bad editing, but I feel like we see that also in the storytelling. Like there's a moment where Loak is repairing the bow, and then it cuts. He's already given it to his mom, and they're having this whole conversation. Like there's just lots of things where it feels like we're not seeing in between steps that feel like you could say they're unnecessary, but when you remove them, it feels jarring. That was my personal opinion on it. So
I didn't get that sense in terms of the pacing from this one at all. As you referenced that I felt like it was paced better than Way of Water, and I do. I never had that Rise of Skywalker feeling where it was like, oh, we're just like forcing so much in so quickly that no one can keep up. It didn't really bother me too much there.
Okay.
Yeah. A couple things I want to point out. We talked earlier about the quality of the motion capture animation that's done here.
Yeah.
Two new arrivals to this film stood out to me as particularly good motion capture. So the leader of the Ash people or Ash tribe, played by Una Chaplin, which I had to look up. I guess I knew her from Game of Thrones, but I didn't know who the actor was. I thought she was phenomenal in this. I kept saying to myself throughout the whole performance, "Who is that?" This is really good. I like her a lot. But the motion capture felt, I think, even more real on her, as well as on the sort of pirate ship captain or trader captain who was played by David Thewlis.
For like 5 minutes?
Yeah. But he seemed so real and lifelike. Even more so. So it was kind of interesting to me. I feel like some of the new characters they introduced, they did an even better job. It's almost like they didn't go back and like update Quaritch or Jake or anybody like the newest people, Thuas and Una Chaplin were somehow even higher quality than that. But on the flip side, I continue to find Kiri
rough.
Yeah, it's tough for me. It's primarily the voice.
It really is the voice.
Yeah, it doesn't quite work. I really badly want. I get the idea. I love the idea of Sigourney Weaver still being a part of this. I love the fact that she's continuing to turn out good performances in the type of genre films that we want to see her in. But this just doesn't work for me. It didn't work for me in Way of Water. It doesn't work for me now, and it's one of the few times that really takes me out of the movie.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely valid. I think it definitely falls into that uncanny valley.
Yeah.
When you have just what is essentially a much older woman voicing a 16 or 17 or 18-year-old kid, it's very strange, especially when she's playing so young. Like she has a romance with another kid in this movie, so it was definitely
creepy. That was creepy.
It falls into bizarre. I mean, they have a moment where they kiss, and I immediately leaned over to my wife and I was like, I just want to know if Sigourney Weaver kissed that teenage boy. Like, because that's weird, you know? So, but like that is an example of something in the movie that does take me out of it. Her character definitely draws me out. And it breaks the illusion because the whole time I'm just hearing Sigourney Weaver playing a kid, which is strange. And I'll say this might be one of my last like issues with the movie. Mm-hmm. I really, unfortunately, feel like the kid who plays Spider is rather horribly miscast. I don't think he has done a very good job. Obviously, he's not given great dialogue to work with or anything like that, but in the emotional moments, I'm having such a hard time buying it. Even just in normal moments, a lot of his line delivery is very rough. But there's a moment in this movie, and I'm going to say now, officially, spoiler alert, we're going to dive into some more story-related moments that are rather important. Starting now, there's a moment where Jake realizes, at least internally, that protecting Spider is not going to be an option anymore. He's too much of a threat to the Na'vi and Pandora as a whole. If the humans get their hands on him, they could win, right? So he comes to this moment where he's like, we do have to kill him. He can't live. So there's this great moment where now Neytiri, for the first time, she's been pretty much on board with killing him the whole time. Now she's not feeling so great about it because he just saved them. He just saved Jake's life. Yeah. She even says that to him. She has like metaphorical blood on her hands with the red paint. It's a really great moment. Jake has him kneel down. Spider realizes what's about to happen. He thinks he's going out to get a cool talk from, his adopted dad. And then he realizes, oh crap, like I'm about to die. And he's saying, please no, whatever. He's saying all that fine. He even says like, Dad, please. And I think that line also lands pretty well. And it's like, oh crap, like this sucks, And then he follows it up with another line. He's like, okay, I know I have to go to Awa now, but do you still love me? And I feel like if it was acted well, if it came from with a good performance, that line would have wrecked me. But instead, I didn't feel hardly anything other than, oh man, that was not a good line delivery at all.
I don't know if it was a well-written line either.
No, it's not a well-written line either. And so that's part of it. So this scene that is supposed to be, I think, probably the most emotional scene of the whole movie. I'm trying to think of another one that could be up there, but I think it's this one. Like, if you're reading the script, this is the moment that if you're going to cry, you're going to cry here. Or if you're going to be extremely nervous, it's here. And the performance just wasn't there. And I haven't felt like there has been a moment in these last two movies where the performance was really there with Spider. Anything surrounding his character emotionally.
Yeah, I agree. He is an emotional weak point in the film, and yet it, unfortunately, in both films, we're supposed to feel for him more than anybody else. I think in a lot of ways he's supposed to be our surrogate as a human among the Na'vi, and it sort of falls a little flat the whole time.
The concept of Spider, I think, is one of the most interesting ideas they've had in these sequels, but the execution of it, mostly through performance and dialogue, has been rather unfortunate. And especially by the end of this movie, so much of this movie hinges on us appreciating his character. This movie literally ends, again, spoiler, with him basically being fully adopted by the Na'vi. He's adopted into Awa, all these different things. Like, the movie ends with them surrounding him, and I felt nothing. Like, I didn't feel like it was this great, beautiful, triumphant, anything moment.
And you think that's all based on the performance?
I think that's all based on the execution surrounding the entire character.
Yeah.
A lot of it comes down to the performance. Unfortunately, I think it's super weak. I don't want to just hate on this guy or this kid. I don't know how old he is. I'm sure he's much older at this point. But
looks like he's 21.
Yeah, so I don't want to hate on him at all. I just think ultimately he's not directed well. The lines they're giving him are not particularly much to work with at all. And it just comes across as super shallow and hollow.
So I think it all comes down to errors in Way of Water to start with. The opening of Way of Water, the opening's like 30 minutes long of Way of Water, let's be real. But the opening yada yadas through two really big reveals about characters and I'm all for in media res, but this Way of Water fails in two ways. One, it gives us an insane amount of recap that we have to watch, which I think is unnecessary, but then it yada yadas through some really important plot points as far as where characters come from. Spider's one, Kiri's the other. I kind of just like, then there was this miraculous birth. We don't even know where she came from. Here she is. And then the same thing with Spider. And, you can't take kids in cryo. So, here's this little guy running around. And it's just, it's one line for each of them that talks about it, and then it's gone. And so I feel like in the first one he's played a lot more like just a Like, wouldn't it be fun? Almost like he's a baby Yoda in the film. And then in the second one, he's supposed to be the, one of the emotional cores of the film. And I think that they just haven't earned it yet, which is the problem. I agree the performance isn't great. The writing for sure is not great, but I think it's because they rushed it originally and we didn't care about him in the second movie. So we're not going to care about him that much in the third.
I'll say on the flip side, the dynamic surrounding his character is very interesting, specifically between Jake Neytiri and Quaritch, Stephen Lang's character. Yeah. I think him being used as a plot device, something for them to all basically fight over or debate over his role, his place among all of them. I do find that dynamic extremely interesting. I love there are 2 or 3 times in this movie alone where Jake and Quaritch have to set their differences aside for a moment, at least, to save Spider along with the rest of the kids, but even at one point, just Spider. I think this is an interesting concept. I think it's even handled rather well in terms of how those 2 actors play it. And I actually think that's probably one of my favorite parts of the movie are the scenes surrounding their struggle over their hate for one another versus their wanting to protect or even keep Spider for themselves.
See, I guess I disagree with you completely. I'm talking myself down a half star, I think, right now in this film as we're having this conversation. I felt like every time that Quaritch became slightly human and cared about Spider, I didn't believe it once. Not one time. He's not that guy. And for us to suddenly, like, it was as if they wanted us to feel something for him, like we were supposed to have some level of redemption for him. But I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it once. Like, him saying, "I don't care who this kid is, kill him." This is in the second one, I think.
Yeah, second one.
Kill. I didn't buy it then. I didn't buy it these times either. He's not that guy. And by the way, that guy didn't care about this kid either. In this movie, they try and give us this backstory. Oh, I loved your mom. She was,
that
hero.
was BS.
That was crap.
That was BS.
The whole thing was crap. So I never bought that at all. That he cared enough that he was going to put the mission aside, because he's essentially doing what Jake did and what he's angry at Jake for. He's betraying his mission.
Yes.
For sentimentality in some way. I think that's
exactly
how Quaritch would see it.
Exactly. But that to me is what's interesting. He hated Jake, and then he finds himself in Jake's shoes unintentionally. He didn't know he's going to wake up in an avatar body, but he does. He finds himself bonding with these different creatures on Pandora. He's having to do it the Na'vi way. I think that it's actually really interesting because he's hated Jake this whole time. He still is holding on to this, but at the same time, he's becoming Jake. And so I personally find that super compelling. For me, the last 2 movies, maybe honestly even all 3 movies, Quaritch is one of the MVPs. I was not on board with Quaritch coming back initially, but I am now. I even want him to come back in the next one. I think he's one of my favorite parts of these movies.
I just think we should have seen it in other ways other than just in these sort of snap reactions throughout. Like, we should have seen some level of humanity creeping through in different ways. And I say humanity, but really, in some ways,
Na'vi.
Navidity. I don't know how to say that word. Navi-manity.
Almost in the way that Jake is suggesting, right? Where he's like, connect to something bigger than you. Like you have an opportunity to be a part of this.
Right.
Unlike the rest of the humans.
So let's flip this then. You feel like the redemption was working for Quaritch. I feel like the sort of the downward spiral of why am I going blank now? It was not necessarily, didn't work for me as much as I would have liked to.
Really?
One of my biggest gripes about the second film is that I feel like they gave Zoe Saldana very little to work with. I think she was super underused in the second film.
I agree.
In this one, she just does similarly. She does 2 things. She kicks some ass, which is a lot of fun when we get to see her kick ass because we know that she's a killer. But she also just does a lot of crying and becoming sort of like window dressing off to the side. And then kind of out of nowhere, she becomes a racist. She hates the pink skin people, which is a new term. I don't think we'd heard pink skin before. And I'm not offended. or anything, but
No.
I just think it was funny
I
to
am.
suddenly slot this in there. But Neytiri never seemed to have an issue with Spider before. She was
Absolutely, she did. Are you kidding me?
in the second movie. Did she really? I don't remember
Absolutely.
that.
Yes, absolutely. Rewatch. I mean, you're not going to now because you just did. But when you rewatch this movie, watch her interaction with Spider multiple times. She's ready to give him up. She's ready to not go after him. She looks at him as though he is not a part of their family. And at the end, she has no problem actually hurting him. I really believe she's going to kill him.
She does grab him, yeah.
Like I really.
But I
believe,
find it out of character. Then I don't like that part in the second film.
Why?
I don't buy it.
In concept or in execution?
Well, maybe both. I don't know.
No, I mean these people have come and destroyed her world completely.
I get that.
But at the same time, I think this movie poses the question better than the second movie from Jake's point of view, he's like, well, I'm human. Like,
yeah,
inside of me is human too. You know, like you fell in love with a human. You put your people aside for me once.
That scene was well done.
So I think the concepts are there. I think the ideas are there. The execution isn't always done perfectly. But I will say this. Neytiri, similar to how I feel in both the other films, another MVP for me. She is, to me, the most interesting parts of these movies oftentimes in terms of not necessarily dynamics that they're setting up or positions they're putting her in, but just in terms of performance and her character. I always love her. I liked what they did with her character in this movie.
I definitely get that in the first one. I just feel like they don't give her enough in either of the other two, but that's just me.
I mean, it doesn't help that they severely expand the cast, give us everything to do with the teenagers, which, at best works at moments.
Yeah.
So
I think it worked better in this one. I think we got a lot less of teenage angst having to be funneled through the Na'vi, which I don't think works at all in the second. It's one of the things I find most distracting about Way of Water. In this one, it's less about that. We don't have to watch a new version of the Karate Kid with the Na'vi. Instead, they're teenagers and they're going to be a little bit rebellious, but at least they're on the same side and we're not hearing them come up with silly, stupid insults to each other all the time. It just never worked for me in Way of Water. So I think that aspect works a little bit better. What I don't get is some of the voice actors that they've brought on and how completely unrecognizable they are. Winslet continues to be completely lost to me.
invisible.
She's totally invisible. I don't see Winslet at all. I don't recognize her voice. I don't know if we're going to give her sort of a Maori accent. Why are we not hiring an actor that has that heritage? She's lost in this. I find her somewhat meaningless in this film. She doesn't
honestly
bring anything to it. The other one that's weird to me, we get a little bit more out of Jermaine Clement, but why are they having him be American?
Who is this?
This is the marine biologist. He's from New Zealand. He's got a great accent. You know him maybe most as the crab in Moana, the giant crab. But he's one of the founders and of the duo Flight of the Conchords. He's done a bunch of really good stuff. He's a really funny guy. But him using the American accent totally is distracting to me. Why couldn't he have had his normal accent? There's plenty of people with accents in this movie. Different accents all over the place.
I'll say, having no idea who he was, I didn't find it distracting at all because I didn't know he had an accent otherwise.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I didn't find it too bad. They definitely gave him a little more to do in this movie. They were kind of setting it up in the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, ultimately, this movie really just feels like a do-over from Way of Water in a lot of ways. It's funny because you said you were talking yourself down half a star. I kind of have talked myself up half a star, so maybe we'll end up in the same place. I'm not really sure.
Where do you think you're landing now?
My rating?
Yeah.
I think I'm giving this movie an 8 out of 10. So a 4 out of 5.
Okay. So I'm looking up here. It looks to me like my Way of Water rating was 3.5. And my Avatar
rating is
4. I think I'm probably going to land on a 3.5 on this one as well for now. It might go up to a 4 on subsequent rewatches.
So you are a first Avatar truther.
I am. I think. Well, in a lot of ways, I think it's the experience, the original experience of what this movie does. We talked at the beginning about the fact that this maybe shouldn't even be called a movie. It's just an experience.
Right.
He's definitely upped the game, but I'm less blown away than I was the very first time I watched the first Avatar in theaters. Extremely low expectations, watched it in 3D, and was just like, holy crap, I've never seen anything like this. Now I've seen this twice before. And yes, he does keep making it a little bit better, and I'm glad to revisit, but I think there's a bit of a novelty factor that's giving it that extra half star for me.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, ultimately, I think it is mostly exactly the same. I do agree. I feel like if we're going to keep getting these movies, he's going to have to take some swings. I think at some point it's going to be time for Jake to not be the main character, or maybe even not be in them anymore if he were to die. I think maybe one of the kids can take a step forward or something like that. Mm-hmm. I think at this point we've seen essentially the same story a few times of we have to relearn everything we know. The humans are bad, the Na'vi are good, and they're going to take our kids as hostages. They're going to mine our planet for every resource it has. I think there's going to have to be a game changer moving forward. I feel like they almost did something in Way of Water with the setup of, I'm forgetting what it's called, but essentially the resource from the whale brain.
Mm-hmm. I forget what it's called too.
The Talokan brain, where they're like, this stops human aging. Like, I'm like, okay, so they're going somewhere with that. They did not in this one. They did not do anything with that other than we still want it.
No, then they gave us a value. It was like $100 billion worth of.
Yeah, it's $1 billion per. So, and there were 100 of the whales. Yeah. So they did mention that in the last movie. But regardless, I'm like, we need something. Like, this movie also kind of did something. Okay, Spider can now breathe the air, right? Humans might be able to breathe. Like, something like this needs to happen larger scale for these movies to keep going. Like, we've seen it 3 times now. We've seen the movie where all hope is lost, and then Awa sends all the creatures after the humans, and we just get by, So there's going to have to be something. He needs to take a swing. If it's a swing and a miss, it's a swing and a miss. But there needs to be a swing. We can't just get Avatar, the way of the Earth in the next one. Like, we need something new.
The Tunnelers.
Yeah.
Well, this is why the first one has an extra half star for me versus the other two. I think that he ups the game visually. He does not up the game from a story or plot perspective. From a character perspective, he doesn't up the game. So I think the first one still stands up for me as slightly better than the other two, even though visually he continues to improve.
Yeah, well, by the way, still great movie. I have it at a 4 out of 5. You have it a 3.5 out of 5, which is my 4 out of 5, actually.
Yeah.
So we're in agreement that this is a great movie. It's a really, really great 3-hour post-credit scene to the Odyssey prologue. It was really great. I liked it a lot. I know I just complained a lot. I have a lot of thoughts about it. There are a lot of things that I was bummed out about, things I wanted to be better, because I want these movies to be top tier. With visuals like this, I would love to give this movie a 10 out of 10, So I have a lot of issues. If I had this many issues with any other movie, it'd probably be rated lower, but you can't deny, as we mentioned beforehand, there's spectacle. There's like immersion unlike anything else. The world of Pandora is so beautiful. Visually, it's stunning. There is a portion... There's a part of what makes this movie so great that is just like so incredibly great that it does get that extra boost. Mm-hmm. It is an event. Like, for us to spend $31 a ticket to go see this in IMAX and 3D and all these different things, like the fact that we're doing this, the fact that this movie is going to easily cross another $1 billion, like, it says something for the movie. So it does get that boost, and I did enjoy it a lot. I do want to see it again.
I did too. I mean, even at 3.5, I'm looking at this as falling probably. Ooh, this is interesting. We're getting into, like Superman, Fantastic Four zone here.
Okay.
For me, and F1 zone. So it looks like it's going to land in top 10 for me.
Yeah.
For the year.
This will be in my top 10 also. I was hoping it'd end up in my top 5. I don't know if
it's just outside. Right now I have it at 11.
at 11.
We'll see how it shakes out the rest of the year. There's a lot of still movies to watch.
There are a lot of movies to watch. There's a few good ones too. So it'll probably not crack your top 10, or it definitely won't crack your top 10. Hopefully it stays in your top 15.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It might fall right in at 10. We'll see if anything pushes it out.
But I do give Avatar, Fire and Rehash 2 thumbs up. I will absolutely watch it again.
Let's add 2 more.
I am not severely disappointed by any means. I am just minorly disappointed with certain decisions, certain performances, and so forth. But I will be there day 1 IMAX 3D for Avatar 4 and 5.
Yep.
And
just in time for your 30th birthday or something. We'll see.
Yeah, exactly.
So I hope he takes some time. All right. Fantastic. Should we dive into some homework?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I gave you the Rob Reiner classic Stand By Me based on Stephen King short story The Body, I believe it's called. What were your thoughts on Stand By Me?
I really enjoyed it. It's been on my list for a little while. It's not my favorite Rob Reiner film. Mm-hmm. It didn't dethrone Princess Bride for me by any means. Mm-hmm. But I found that this movie portrayed brotherhood and friendship in a way much, much, much better than most movies that try to do that. Mm-hmm. You really care about these boys and their friendship with one another. It feels very real, and I really, really appreciated that. I think also the concept of the story, like the little journey they're on, it's really fun. I don't know why. Well, I do know why story-wise. The whole time, me and my wife were convinced that the main boy, played by River Phoenix, was going to die. Mm-hmm. Like he's clearly he's almost like the Samwise Gamgee of the group in a way. Like he's the good one. He's the one that keeps them together. He's the one who never gives up. The one who's gonna, if he sees you falling behind, he's gonna come back and get you and make sure you're okay. He's gonna talk to you. So I was just like, okay, so he's dying, right? Then also in the back of my head, I'm like, oh wait, I think I saw a video talking about like characters who didn't deserve to die. And I thought he was on that list. So the whole time I'm just waiting for him to die. He never died. He didn't die, which I actually appreciate. I don't think he needed to die in the story that they were telling. But so the whole time I was just kind of dreading whenever that moment was going to come. But long story short, I did really enjoy it. I think I gave it a 4 also, a 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd. I am slowly conforming to your 4 out of 5s rather than 8 out of 10s. You know,
I didn't make up the system. Letterboxd is only giving you 5 stars to play with, dude.
But you do complain about my way of rating a lot. The way of rating.
So you gave it 4?
I gave it 4.
That's good.
I enjoyed it a lot.
For some reason, I thought you were lower on it than that, but that's good. I'm glad.
Maybe I gave it a 3.5. I think I gave it a 4 though.
I think that for me, he's a lot more like not so much Samwise Gamgee, but more like Benny Rodriguez. You know, from Sandlot. He's definitely. He's the cool one. What did you think of River? I know that like River was in my lifetime. River Phoenix falls into that sort of Heath Ledger category where it's like, oh. Like we could have had so much more from him. He's such a good actor, kind of thing. But even more so because, River died much, much younger,
very young. Yeah,
and this is definitely in the ballpark it's one of his better known movies. But maybe only the second time you've seen him in something, right?
Yeah, I forgot that it was him. I know you had mentioned it, but I didn't realize until after I watched it. I was like, oh yeah, that was River Phoenix when I was getting ready to log it on Letterboxd. And so I didn't really go into it like analyzing or anything like that, but I would just say he was really good. He was really great. It's just always kind of different when you don't realize it's somebody and then afterwards you realize it's more. Sometimes it's better that way, but usually I enjoy knowing who it is I'm watching. Like even just in Way of Water, Fire and Ash last night, you're like, that's Professor Lupin. I'm like, oh, you're right, it is. Yeah. And now I'm looking at his character a little differently because I'm watching the performance, right? So I did not have that experience with Stand By Me, but I did enjoy his performance a lot. Good. Especially in hindsight, realizing it was him. Good. Awesome. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah. I gave you Train Dreams, a little bit of a Oscar buzz around this movie, specifically for best lead performance. I told you going into it that I didn't think it was going to be, your Oscar pick for the year, but I did think that there was a simplicity in its beauty and that you would appreciate. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, a solid 3-star film for me. It is beautifully shot. There is a quietness to it that I think is its power. And Joel Edgerton's performance is really good. I mean, he's fantastic. There's a lot of other great little small performances, William H. Macy, Felicity Jones, and others that come up. At the same time, I found myself like continually expecting something more to happen.
Yeah.
And very
Fair.
little did. Ultimately, I landed on the idea that this movie is somehow attempting to highlight the beauty in a simple life.
Yeah.
It calls out, he never did this, he never did that, he never did this, when he died. But I guess to me, I kind of found myself saying, well, okay, but I'm not showing up to a movie to look for simplicity. I'm looking for something extraordinary in some ways. And so I think I found myself a little disappointed that nothing more happened.
Yeah.
But it's a well-made film. It's a well-acted film. I don't see myself going back to it.
Right.
The one weird experience I had was the period. When certain things showed up, I think the first time was a chainsaw. When a motorized chainsaw showed up, and then maybe 20, 30 minutes later, a television set and the moon landing.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what the hell time is this? I think when the film started, I thought it was much more in the past than it turned out to be. And that threw me off a little ways, but it was a good film. I could see Edgerton getting some Oscar recognition, but not a win. I'd be surprised about that. And like I said, ultimately a 3-star film for me.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. I generally agree with you when I'm looking for something a little more extraordinary to happen in a movie rather than just about simplicity. Mm-hmm. But in this case, it worked for me a little better. I even at one point, I actually started this movie when my wife was out of town. Mm-hmm. And I don't ever usually have to do this, but I actually had to pause it and turn on some anime because I was like, I am depressed right now. Like I don't
know that that's a sign of a good film though, right?
No, but I thought it was just beautiful. Like I appreciated its portrayal of simple life and the beauty in that. And so it worked for me a little better, but I knew that you would at least appreciate a lot of aspects of it. So I'm glad that you didn't find it a bad movie.
No, I didn't. All right, this week I'm going to give you something a little more bizarre, a little potentially even a little on the depressing side, but certainly thought provoking and mind bending. I'm going to give you Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
You mean number 7 on the New York Times 100 best movies of the 21st century
right,
list?
Number 7. I think this is a great film. I don't know that I would say that I think it's a top 10 of the last 25 years, but it's definitely a good one. And I noticed it on the list and thought you should be watching this one.
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch this one for a little while, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. I've heard only great things about it, so I'm excited. This
kind of plays into our Jim Carrey conversation from
your favorite actor.
Yeah, a few weeks ago.
Yeah, okay.
This is a film where I really like him, or I like the film despite him, I guess is the best way to say it. Okay. Similar to how I feel about like The Departed and Leonardo DiCaprio.
Hold on,
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Did you just throw out another quick hot take? Are you anti-Leo?
I think Leo is a bit flat at times. He's a little one note. I don't always love Leo. A lot of times I like him, or I like a film despite him.
Okay, that's interesting.
Departed is one of those.
We'll have to touch on that some other time. I think that's rather interesting. I'm giving you a complete, and I mean a complete 180 from what I gave you last week. Train Dreams is very slow and simple and beautiful, and oftentimes you're waiting for something to happen that's not going to. I think in this movie we're probably going to be waiting for something to not happen, slow down, and take a break.
Take a breath somewhere.
This is going to be Sisu 2, Sisu Road to Revenge.
Yeah.
You've seen Sisu.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've seen Sisu. Neither of us have seen Sisu Road to Revenge, so this is a little bit of a different homework assignment because I haven't even seen it. But I think we should just both watch it.
Okay.
So I want you to watch it.
It was definitely. I was trying a couple weeks back. I was trying to get to the theater to see it.
Yeah.
And
there's just so much.
We had talked. There just happened to be a really busy week. Yeah. I think I saw 3 movies that week in theaters, and I wasn't able to get to Sisu Road to Revenge. So I'm looking forward to that. Got it ready to watch. I wish I could go see it in theaters, but I'll put it up on the 75 and see how it looks.
Yeah, it's rated a little better than Sisu.
Yeah, that's interesting. Stephen Lang too, right?
Yeah.
Really fascinating to look at the second part of his career.
Yeah.
Like early Stephen Lang is kind of unrecognizable to post-Avatar Stephen Lang.
I think I like post-Avatar Stephen Lang.
He's pretty bad. I mean, he gave some good performances. Look at Tombstone. Not Red Dragon. What was the rename? Manhunter. Him and Manhunter. He was always really good.
Yeah.
But Avatar and post-Avatar, and he just became this totally unrecognizable character actor that I like a lot. And it looks like he looks kind of a similar type of character here. We'll see how he is. Definitely looks like a villain.
Yeah, no, he seems like a villain. Yeah. I'm excited to watch it. This is senseless brutality and just like immortality in this character Sisu. So I think it's going to be fun.
Good. All right. Well, we've ranked, we debated, we disagreed, though not about who shot first. It's all just another day in the galaxy.
So whether you're Gen X, Gen Z, or somewhere lost in the timeline, please continue to listen, like, share, and subscribe to I Am Your Father.
Until the next episode, remember that with great power comes a great second breakfast, but winter is also coming. So may the Force live long and prosper with you.
I see you. Wait, where? Oh, okay.